616 at KLIF, families of white students have been prohibited from participating in numerous college welcome programs at the University of California, San Diego during the Fall Welcome Week.
Interesting.
For example, UCSD is hosting a Black, Latinx, and Native American family orientation. And later in the week, the university will have a Black Surf Week.
A lot of questions in all of this.
So it's not like white students can participate as well.
No. And of course, many of us would be predisposed to jump to conclusions. But rather than do that, we want to talk with Rob Crain, who's former president of the Dallas Bar Association and has teamed up with Reverend Richie Butler, a senior pastor in Dallas, to help heal racial divides. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's an interesting story, and as I say, these days everybody wants to jump to all kinds of conclusions. And I don't know what you're feeling about this particular situation is. Can we go ahead and tell us?
Well, my reaction was similar to yours. Was like, whoa, this is a UC San Diego. This is a big school. It's almost like 40,000 students. So I took a look at the sourcing of the story, and then I went to the website and just, did my lawyerly little functions here. And, I've got good news to report. This article that came out was sourced from a single flyer, which was a flyer that came out in late July. All of these orientation events do not occur until this coming September, until this month, and are starting tomorrow. And that flyer has been updated to include that all students are welcome. And better than that, when I went back and looked at the website as to the previous year's orientations, including the Surf Week, which was like, wow, what's that? All of those were very clear from years past that it's open to all students, which is what you would expect from a state-funded university, because they would run afoul of federal law if they started excluding folks and so forth. So there's good news to report on that front, but you all have always been brave to jump in and talk about sensitive issues of race, and I applaud you for that. And this does bring up a lot of questions about race that we should all talk about, because it's a healthy thing to talk about in our country.
Well, where did that particular flyer come from that said that, white people were being excluded?
Well, the flyer itself doesn't say it excludes anybody, and currently the flyer now says that it's open to all Tritons. Tritons is their mascot, and so that it was a university-generated flyer. You can tell it's one for just 2022, but as I said, when you go back and look at their website, which includes photographs from prior orientation programs and so forth, you can see that they're diverse.
All right, so let's move on to your initiative, yours and Reverend Butler's initiative, a national initiative called Together We Can. What is that about?
You bet. So, talking about race is, always difficult, and it's courageous. Brene Brown, who's the wonderful researcher that so many Americans have read her books and so forth, have talked about owning our story as a country. And, we all have to own our story as individuals in our lives and the journey that we've been on, the good things, the bad things that have happened. And America and our story is no different. It's the greatest country on the planet, and it's the greatest story that there is. And a big, part of that story in our past has been issues of race. And we've got a history that we, should own and not be ashamed of, not be fearful of. Own it, understand it, appreciate it, understand the consequences of. And the great thing about this history is that it includes so many positive steps forward in how we go about issues of race and how we go about equality in this country. And it's founded on this great ideal that this country was laid out. Thomas Jefferson, all men are created equal. I would add all men and women are created equal. Something he didn't have to say it when he put it in the Declaration of Independence. It really didn't have anything to do with breaking away from England. And we start there, that this promissory note in our country that, as that's what Martin Luther King called it, we're aspiring to that we treat everybody equally. And that's where we're headed in this country. And so we bring a platform of tools that we provide whoever would like them, individuals, companies, of how we can go about a positive discussion about our history, a positive discussion about how you can talk about race. And it really, after you get over the initial anxiety, it's really uplifting.
There are so many efforts to erase our history, almost. Is that a bad thing, do you think?
Of course. I mean, we don't want to erase our personal histories. We don't want to erase our country's history. It's how we learn from our mistakes. It's how we learn from the things that went right. I heard the historian John Meacham talk about Thomas Jefferson and what a great founding father he was. He was in the midst of participating in a revolution, and in addition to writing so many important documents. But he also enslaved over 600 people in his lifetime. Well, how do we deal with that? How do we reconcile those thoughts and facts and so forth? And he says it very, very straightforwardly, and that is we look it in the eye and we appreciate all of the positive things, and we look and see where he was in his life and appreciate and understand and look him in the eye and understand history in its context. And so, we should never change our history. We should never shy away from it. It's sometimes hard to look at, but we learn from it and we do positive things from it. And that's what this country's done. This country should be proud of the great steps that it's made and shouldn't be in any way afraid to look at our past.
Are there some specific events that we can look forward to, or do you have a website or any other information that we should know about?
You bet. TogetherWeCan.one, ONE, is where you can learn more information about the program. And what we do is we send out materials each month that can be consumed within less than an hour. And quite frankly, they're links from wonderful contributors around the country, both in our past and our present, and listening to different perspectives of people on this topic from all different backgrounds, all different academia or profession or whatever it may be. And it really, illuminates, hey, yeah, we can do this. I mean, not only, is it something that's refreshing and relieving at times that we can do this, provides relief, but it's something that is exciting. We can really do great things when we pool together our differences and then making them even stronger positives. The companies in America have realized this. They sell more products, sell more services when they've got more perspectives from different backgrounds going, and it's a bottom line thing for a lot of companies as well.
All right, Rob, thanks so much for your time this morning. Rob Crain, former president of the Dallas Bar Association, and now he's a part of an initiative called Together We Can.